everything that you need to know about life and how to get through whichever challenging situation, be it positive, negative. It's all in here. Hello, hey, and how's it going? Welcome. Come inside. Get comfortable, get cozy. As I always say, get situated. To my new faces, if you're new here, welcome. Please get acquainted with the community. My name is Shirley. It's good to have you, and I hope you consider staying by subscribing. I would really appreciate that. To my returning faces again, as I always say, and I'm always grateful, thank you so much for your support. So, as you can tell by today's title of the video, we are talking about leveling up. Now, if you recall in my previous video, the last one, I mentioned that we're doing a 3-part series. Now, this 3-part series involves upping our game a little bit. And I'm not only talking about in the spiritual aspect of our life, I'm talking about mentally and emotionally. But to get to those two, we have to start somewhere. And I feel that for me personally, I don't know in which order you would like to work in, but you can watch the videos as I put them out, and then you can decide for which one is priority for you. It just so happens that my spiritual game needed work, and it still and will always need work. And so therefore, I chose to discuss that one as our first one. So the reason why I'm talking about that is because we need to turn up the heat. We need to get a better understanding and just to increase our knowledge and our wisdom in our journey, or our rather spiritual journey, when it comes to getting to know God and building a relationship with Him. So I'm speaking about that because this is a priority in my life for now. It's something that I have been working on for years. And I feel that it's something that I'll continue working on because as a Christian, I need to be active in my pursuit of getting to know God and maintaining an open communicative relationship with Him. So I thought, let me share a couple of keys. I know that there are a lot of contributing factors towards your spiritual growth. I, for the sake of simplicity, thought, let's just focus on 3, because these are the 3 that really has helped me, and I think will continue to help me because they are the 3 main points that has worked for me, and I hope that in turn they might work for you. So let's get into today's video without me digressing like I always do. Let's go. So for a lot of us, it's the why. Why do I need to grow? Why do I need to focus on the spiritual aspect of my life? And I'll tell you why. It's because culture today is leaning, or increasingly leaning, towards materialism and commercialism and secularism. And so it leaves very little room for spiritual nourishment. Because we as humans, think about it. It's not in us to just feel like, okay, well, I'm just going to lift my Bible up and read it and sit the whole day and read the Bible. It's not in us. Well, our tendency leans towards selfish pursuits. And because of our sinful nature, we'll always strive to go the other direction. And so we have to make a conscious effort and be intentional about connecting with God. Because had it not been for Him, realistically, we would have nothing. We wouldn't even be here. So I thought, before we get into the three keys, I just wanted to highlight those points because that is the climate of our time. There's always been that pushing and pulling, or rather what I want versus what God wants for me. And so without further ado, let's get into today's topic. So the first key I have is on prayer. Now, I know that this is the most obvious one, especially when it comes to your spiritual growth. But you'd be amazed at how many people actually forget about this area of their spiritual growth. And to me personally, it's more than just reciting words. It's more than that. I look at it as an opportunity for me to connect and to communicate with God. And it's a chance for me to have a conversation with Him. It's a chance for me to thank Him. And there's so many things you can be thankful for. And to me, it looks like waking up in the morning, having that quiet time, because I wake up before my habanero does. So before the activities kick in, I have that moment. I have a moment. Even, you know what? You don't really have to base it on, if you have an hour to spare, and trust me, there are times that you can speak for that hour. But I'm just saying, if you only have 5 minutes, whatever it is, make the time to thank Him. to thank him for the things that you noticed. For one, I wake up in the morning and I'm thankful that I'm alive. I look at it as another day to enjoy life, another day to love on my husband, another day to be grateful and to spend time with family and people that you care about, and just to engage in activities that you enjoy. So those are things that I'm thankful for, among many. But you have, from the time that you wake up right through the day, you have the whole day to be thankful. And so that is something that I feel we should cherish, is that privilege that we have to communicate with him. And by making the time, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, or again, some people prefer at night. It doesn't necessarily have to be a formal prayer. You could have I like to have conversational prayers with God. I really do. I can speak about anything and everything to him at any given time. And I'm not saying in a disrespectful manner as I would speak to somebody else. When I say disrespectful, I mean not disrespectful, but rather in a casual manner. No, I maintain the utmost respect for God, for him being who he is. But I still have that relationship with him where I can speak about whatever it is that's on my mind in sort of like a casual sense. So yeah, that's one thing that's really important to me, and that's, I feel, is the best way for me to start my day, is through prayer. So let's go on to the second key. So the second key I have for us is to read your Bible. When it comes to communicating or trying to speak with God, I open my Bible. This is God's primary source of communicating. It also reveals so many things. There's so many things that you can learn about God in this Bible, but not only about him, just about life and how we can navigate life, and how everything that he's put in place to help us in this area, because none of us have answers. But there's oftentimes I wonder to myself, like, God, how did you know? How did you know that there was an answer? Or how is it that you have an answer for every single challenge that I'm going through, or for every doubt that I have, or there's something that I need to know? 66 books. And I can tell you everything that you need to know about life and how to get through whichever challenging situation, be it positive, negative. It's all in here. It's all in here. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you only have to read the Bible in its physical form. What about in audio, modern technologies? Sometimes there's pros and sometimes there's cons. And in what we're talking about today, the audio version is a blessing. It really is a blessing, because sometimes, for the sake of time, we don't always have the time to sit down and read. Sometimes you just have to snap that audio in. And it can be on your phone, it can be on your car on your way to work. Trust me. If you can make time for that podcast, you can make a time to listen to that audio. So whichever works for you. I just feel like there's a lot of answers to questions that we ourselves will never know. When I tell you everything is laid out, there is nothing that will help us in our spiritual journey or will give us the keys on how to go through life and how to learn that's not recorded in here. Everything, like I said, and I'm going to keep repeating this because it really is the book of everything. When I tell you book of life, it is. There's nothing that's not recorded in here that won't allow us to grow closer to God, that won't teach us and help us to understand how, again, to navigate through life and what we can do to please him. Because so many times we need help on how to get through life for ourselves, and God, how can I do this? Or what about what we can do for him? And so everything is in there. If you want to learn how to please God, it's in there. If you want to learn how to love God and what he requires of us and how to be obedient, everything is in this little book. So Bible reading is my second key. Let's move on to the third. So the third and the final key I have is fellowship. Now, associating with like-minded believers is also another great way to grow or to develop your relationship or strengthen your relationship with God. Not only for your sense of belonging and acceptance, because we as humans, we need that, but also because it gives us an opportunity to learn more about your faith and to share with others and to learn to emulate Christ-like qualities by caring, by serving others. we learn to be more concerned with others, and in that sense we encourage others when they're going through difficult times. Because I find, especially with myself, when I share my blessings or experiences, when I see that it encourages somebody else, in turn I feel encouraged, and vice versa. Sometimes I might be going through something difficult, and I might not be the world's most sociable person. Not that like I always say, I'm not an extrovert, so I do socialize, but in doses. And I'm not a person that necessarily wants to be in large groups. You can keep it intimate, but it's just to have that interchange. As I think the Apostle Paul says, that interchange of encouragement, it's so important because it keeps you going, and it really does keep you motivated as a person who's on that spiritual journey, because it's not something that you're only going to do for now, or it's not something that's only relevant for now. It's a journey. It's an ongoing process. I'm taking this down to my grave. So for me, it's important to know who my associates are. Who do I spend most of my time with? You know, there's a saying that says, you become the 5 people you choose to hang around. Yes, you are what you are. You know, you are what you eat. You are what you associate. So you want to be around, like I said, with like-minded people. If you are on or aggressively pursuing growing your relationship with God, or just to be improving certain areas in your life that needs work, you want to be around people who are on that same journey. So try to choose people who are strong, who are spiritually more mature than you. I find that I learn so much from people like that. I really do enjoy, even whether they're older, younger. There's always somebody that knows more than I do, especially when it comes to God and the Bible and how I can grow. So again, there are many different keys to spiritual growth. But by putting these basic keys into practice, I can guarantee you that you will definitely see a difference in your spiritual growth. So let's continue, strive. Don't give up. I know that the world gets loud sometimes, and sometimes the volume is a little bit too high, but you can turn it down. Why not focus on things that you find more important? Like I said, if you can trade out certain things. If you're a person that gets distracted easily, just off the record tips, why not put your phone on silent when you know it's your personal time, it's your one-on-one time with God? Put your phone on silent. Some people put it in airplane mode. If that works for you, do that. Another thing that works for me, I'm intentional about certain things in the morning. So what I have developed a habit in is I don't check anything in my phone. I don't open any app in my phone in the morning except for my Bible. If I'm using the app on my phone or my physical Bible, that's the first thing I'll do. So if it's something urgent, then obviously you have the scroll down option. You can see, is there something urgent, or you've had like a ton of missed calls and then you know it's an emergency. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if you are a person who gets distracted, be intentional. Push yourself. Make that conscious effort to say, you know what, I'm not going to open Instagram right now, or I'm not going to open whatever platform you're on, Facebook or whatever it is. And just say, I am going to dedicate these 30 minutes or these 20 minutes. Even if you only do 15 minutes, even if it's just 5, it doesn't matter. Start small, and you'll see gradually it'll start to increase. I know it's hard. It's hard because doing the other things is always easy. And everybody seems to think that the Bible is so impossible to understand. It's not impossible. It's just taking the time to get to know. Like any relationship, it's just taking the time of communicating with that person to get to know, what is this person like? What doesn't he like? What are his qualities? What's his character like? God is the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just different because he's not in physical form, but he is in physical form in your Bible. So get it going. I would love to know what you consider best ways of growing spiritually also, or at least what's helped you or what's worked for you on your spiritual journey. Please put them in the comment section down below. Like I always say, I like to keep the videos light, but I enjoy sharing practical ways, because I enjoy practical ways in everything. Whether it's my mental journey, my emotional journey, give me practical steps on how, or things that I can apply. And I'm hoping that this video really does benefit you in that sense, because these are things that we can take with us every single day for the rest of our lives. It's not just a once-off. It really isn't a once-off. So let's encourage one another in the comment section down below. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing that. The part 2 is to follow. Part 2 is just, I might as well put it out there. Part 2 is going to be on leveling up mentally. So that's your mental health and how to protect that, how to grow. And then our last one will be emotional health. So emotional growth rather. And so I feel these are 3 important areas that I'm working on and I will continue to work on in my life as long as I'm alive. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you very much. Like I always say, I invite you to comment down below, whether it's negative or positive, as long as we keep it respectful. In the meantime, you be content, you be mindful, and you stay blissful. I'll see you soon. Ciao.